Hey, Warrior Saints, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Father Chris with you. Glad to have you, beautiful people, with us today. In the Apple TV television show, Ted Lasso, there's a great scene where Ted is throwing darts against his nemesis, the evil Rupert. And in the conversations that are happening during this really formidable dart match, Ted says something that really struck me with a lot of power. He's talking about, he's a really good dart player, but the guy Rupert doesn't know it. He just assumed and judged that Ted, being an American, this takes place in England, was not a good dart player. But unbeknownst to the evil Rupert, Ted played darts for many years, every single Sunday after church with his father, and he could throw darts right on the bullseye with his left hand or his right. And he says the following. He says, Rupert, people have been judging me since I was a little kid. But it dawned on me, they were never curious. Because if they were curious, they would have stopped and asked me, hey, Ted, do you know how to play darts? To which I would have replied, yes, sir, every single Sunday after church with my dad. Rupert's lack of curiosity led him, which, by the way, he lost the dart match to Ted Lasso. His lack of curiosity led him to make a judgment, a snap judgment against Ted Lasso, thus not giving him the full data, letting him know everything, what kind of an opponent he was up against, and he ended up losing the match, and with that there were some, powerful things in the show that he had to forfeit. Side note, if you don't watch Ted Lasso, you should probably do it. Really good show. Having said all of that, why are we so quick to judge and so slow to be curious? Why are we so quick to attack or to assign meaning or assign an opinion without knowing all of the proper information about another person, another thing, an idea, where we want to go, the work we want to do, something that may be confronting us in our business or our relationships? We're so quick to judge that we leave little time for curiosity. In Proverbs chapter 25, we hear the following. It is the glory of God to conceal things. It is the glory of kings to search things out. I love it, especially as we think about warrior saints being a king, a knight, a mentor, and a lover. In the king pillar, the king is to lead his family, lead his domain, lead his world, his business, his job, his life, to lead those around him. That's the responsibility of a king. But to do so, you can't make quick snap judgments, snap decisions without knowing all of the information. Instead, we should take a mindset of curiosity, right? So that we're looking at the world assuming we don't really know everything. In fact, some of us get to a point where we realize we don't know anything at all, and we're learning curiously every single day. I say these things to you because I think a lot of the angst that we feel in the world, whether it, just it be any of the myriad of things that we've got going on that are constantly tugging at our opinions, our minds, tugging at our awareness, our focus, our attention. We're not curious. Someone tells us, excuse me, and we make a snap judgment, and we're like pot committed to whatever we were told by whatever media we read and consumed. Instead, could we as warrior saints, as kings, not take the approach of curiosity to ask more questions? I think two big questions are why and why not. Very often we just, like I say, we get stuck with what we're told and we don't ask why is it that way or why not. I don't mean why or why not in terms of, why should we go to church? Well, obviously, you know the answer to that question. I don't mean to be silly like that, but why can this not be done? Why should I do X or Y? Why would I not do X or Y? When we start to ask questions about curiosity, we also find, my mind raced, forgive me, look at this. When someone does something malintended to us, true story. Just the other day, someone made a poor comment against one of my staff members, someone on my team. And, I wasn't going to sit and take that. But my first reaction was, to make a judgment on that person and, rip into them because what they said wasn't good. But I started to be curious, why would that person do that? Is there something that the person's carrying? Is there anger or frustration or hurt or some sickness? Or is something going on inside the person that would lead them to say such a rotten comment to one of my teammates? And, I think the truth of it is, as I was curious, I came to some conclusions. The person isn't rotten, though they did a rotten thing and said a rotten thing. The person is carrying something. And so when I was curious about what that might be, it allowed me to have a little compassion on the person. And I hope that I was compassionate. It allowed me to to be strong and say what needed to be said, but also to say, hey, look, I love you. And if you need help with any of that stuff, I'm here and I mean it. I meant that. I really did mean that. And so I from that moment, I became really hot on curiosity. Let's explore. Let's search. Let's not assume we know everything. We have all the answers. There's no growth in that. But let's be curious. Let's explore. And I bet we'll start to find some things out there that we didn't know. Great stuff this week. Love you, beautiful people. We'll be back on Sunday with Orthros and Liturgy, 9 and 10 a.m. respectively, Pacific Standard Time. And then, of course, we will be back on Monday for our live stream. I want to encourage you, beautiful people, make sure you visit warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. Till next time, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.